right. And it ain't pitch black yet. It's like we're getting closer and closer to the longest day of the year. So, all right, let's see if we get some computer screen visual here and some 5x5s, and we'll kind of healthy disrespect saying 5x5 already. All right, let's see if we get a couple others that I can see me. So far, one person. All right, Finley the dog says 5x5. Mountaintop Prep says, let's get this party started. Smartass. All right, Paul Garricky says 5x5. Good deal. All right, so let's start with a little bit of fun today. Yes, believe it or not, I got everything done. I was out planting carrots at 6:30 this morning, as you saw, and got all the yard trimming done and went and found some cardboard to do more with my gardens. And God, what else did I do today? Picked vegetables, gave my onions a haircut again, just all sorts of good stuff. So that was the enjoyable part. But let's go into a couple of things that are important for everybody to know. First thing, and John Hutzel sent me this today. This is important because a lot of you guys ask me questions on precious metals all the time, and there's this big thing on TV, I guess. I haven't watched TV in almost a year now, that somebody's selling these tribute buffalo nickels. Okay, they're supposedly $50 buffalo nickels, with gold in them. There's 14 milligrams of pure 24 karat gold. I want to give you this as an idea, guys. These things cost $9.95 a piece. There is 72 cents worth of gold in there, 0.0004 ounces. If you want an idea how much gold is in there, there's gold that is equivalent to the weight of 5 mosquitoes. Don't waste your money on this thing, okay? If you want to buy gold, buy the real stuff. All right. Another one, and this will chap your ass like it does me. Okay. The billions of dollars of weaponry and money that we've sent to Ukraine and everything like that. Well, apparently all those javelins we sent over there that cost $186,000 a piece apparently have now hit the dark web, and they are being sold by the Ukrainian military to places in the Middle East and North Africa. You figure out who the buyers are, for $30,000 a pop. Okay. And yes, if anybody wants to see the link, I will give this to you real quick. There you go. So, yes, your tax dollars are now going to fund less than nice people in the Middle East and North Africa. Isn't that nice? Thanks, Joe. All right. But we got to get into this because y'all know how just absolutely the way California goes, the rest of the country needs to go, right? Okay. California is that shining city on a hill that we're all supposed to emulate. Let me give you a few stories about what's going on in California here today. Mendocino, California, gas, $9.50 a gallon. Yeah. Remember I told you yesterday I filled up, it was $4.19 a gallon? Yeah, I went by stores today, $4.59 and $4.29, depending on the stores you went past. Okay, so gas went up somewhere between 10 and 40 cents here a gallon last night or overnight, but it ain't anywhere close to $9.50 a gallon. Okay, so yeah, but California, there you go. There's that awesome leadership you have out of Gavin Newsom. Okay. Remember the other day when I was talking about when are we going to start banning knives, assault knives? Okay. California, Encino Hospital yesterday. Attacker at Encino Hospital presented himself as a patient, then stabbed 3, a doctor and 2 nurses. Okay. So California, you better, get rid of those knives. Be careful because that's what's going next. But this is classic. And I'm just going to read the first sentence of this story to you. A California appeals court has ruled that 4 species of bees are now legally considered fish. No, I'm not kidding you. This is not a Babylon Bee or an Onion headline. This is true. And if you want to read this one, I will give you the link on this too, just because if there's anything that is about as stupid as I've heard, it's that. But yes, California, you have completely proven yourself to be the land of fruits and nuts. Nowhere else to go with that one. I'm sorry. Guys, if you live in California, I apologize. Not for picking on California, the fact that you're still part of the United States. God. So, all right. So there's the craziness in the world. There wasn't a whole lot of earth-shattering anythings that we need to know about today, which was good. It was a peaceful day for all of us. Hope you all got some good stuff done. Bluebird of Happiness, thank you for the super chat. Are they high in pinball, or are they high in California? Yeah, no question. But yeah, so hopefully you guys got something done. I got quite a bit accomplished around here, and actually got to spend an hour with my neighbors on the porch today, which was really nice to all just get together and shoot the shit for a while and just socialize, and that's something that everybody needs to remember, guys, is take some time to smell the roses. Remember, just because the world's going to hell, we haven't completely got there yet. Still find some time in your day to enjoy your life, okay? Enjoy what you have now before you don't. I mean, there may come a day where we're all sitting around the porch going, wow, remember the days when you could put ketchup on a hamburger? We may eventually get to those. We aren't there yet, okay? So enjoy what you got now while you still have it, because, again, like everything else, nobody's promised tomorrow. So just reminder there for a second. So, all right. Let's get into this. First off, thanks to my moderators for being here. Jacob, North Shore, Lucky Dame, Lorna. Robert has the night off, so he had some personal things to take care of today. He told me about 6 o'clock in the morning, so that was good. Not that they need my permission to not be here, but it was nice that he let me know. But so we are running short one moderator tonight. So all you trolls out there, you might have a little chance, maybe. Doubt it. So, all right. But thank you guys all for being here and spending your time to keep the family safe. Paul, thank you for the super chat. What did you say here? Did I hear the San Francisco School Board banned the word chief from its curriculum because it's insensitive to Native Americans, except the word comes from 13th century English, French. Can you say it? It's, yeah, I saw that. No more chief executive officer, no more chief financial officer. I saw that a few days ago. It's just next to California in the dictionary is the word stupid. I'm sorry. If there was a conservative stand-up comedian or late night comedian, Gutfeld, I guess, is about the only one. I swear he could put a 2-hour show together just talking about California, but probably has. All right, so let's get into this evening here and have a little bit of fun, talk about what you guys want to talk about. I'll remind everybody, as usual, please stay away from the taboo subjects on YouTube. And if you have questions for me, put them in all caps. That's the only way I'm going to see them, because I'm not reading every comment. There's 1,400 of you guys here right now and me. So I can read quickly, but not Evelyn Wood's speed reading. The only other thing, guys, please keep the chat PG-13. Please respect each other. Be polite. The mods are very good about keeping the riffraff out of here. So, treat others as though you'd like to be treated yourself. If you want to be an ass, go do it somewhere else. Okay? Not here. All right? That's just one thing I have no patience for. Not comments on the videos, not in the live stream, whatever. We are all here to try to help each other. We may disagree. That's fine. We can disagree politely. We don't have to start spewing profanity at each other. All right, so let's get into Q&A here, and I will see let's see how far I can get up to the top. And I kept it relatively short tonight. Good. PS 1990 California sucks. We're trying to finish our house so we can sell at the top and get, I'm assuming, out. Yeah. God. Yeah. Hopefully before the market crashes, because all of a sudden, if you saw today was reported, but obviously numbers came out this week, housing inventories have actually started to rise, which all of a sudden means there are more sellers than buyers. So you're going to see a top in the market here. If we haven't already seen it, we're right there. Rooster, oh no, an ex-native Californian, it was paradise. Yeah, I mean, 30 years ago, California was awesome. And then it just completely got taken over. Not for a good thing. So, Hellflower, I'm a chef. I'm keeping my knives. Thank you. Good. So, Jay Myers, West Tennessee gas now $4.49, diesel $5.69. Yeah, I guess the average price of diesel across the country is now over $6. So you can just expect that to keep raising the price of everything you buy. Biden, of course, has tried blaming Putin, and he blamed the oil companies are making too much money, yada, yada. This was the funny one, because, nobody's buying any of this other stuff. Now Biden is blaming Congress. It's Congress's fault. Somebody might want to remind him who's in control of both houses. But yeah, it's anybody's fault but Joe's. Gee, I don't know, Joe. Maybe this war in Ukraine, that the only one that seems to want it is you, because Russia and Ukraine want to come to the table and talk. You just don't want to let them do it. Gee, I don't know. Could we be talking about a pipeline? Could we be talking about drilling? Could we be talking about Anwar? I don't know. Anybody remember a year and a half ago, we were energy independent? We were a net exporter of oil? Thanks, Joe. Yeah. God. Michael G. This is a good question, and a lot of people make this in comments all the time. Why do we continue to let the government keep abusing us? Because nobody's come up with a better solution. Okay. We have enough idiots in this country that keep voting these people in. I got poor AOC was out today saying, oh, that, Congress is totally dysfunctional, and it really hurts her to see, to work in a place where it's so dysfunctional. Like, chick, you're part of the problem, a big part. But, the thing is, the only solution, now I won't say the only solution, the best solution we have, obviously, is at the ballot box, okay? The next solution is the cartridge box, and I don't think anybody wants it, and somebody's got to start it, and nobody wants to be that person. That's the thing. I did the video yesterday on the amount of people that were in favor of assassinations in this country. That's flat out scary, okay? But in a positive thing, I was looking this afternoon, and there is, I guess, in all the swing states, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Wisconsin, whatever it would be, Biden's underwater double digits in a lot of places. He's got a 2/3 to 1/3 disapproval. And that's going to carry over to November. So we'll see what happens in November, depending on if Dominion's around or not. But the problem is, Potato Joe's still going to be in the White House. He may be a lame duck for 2 years. Nothing may happen. But if this Congress, if we can avoid this Congress doing absolutely stupid stuff in the next 7 months, if nothing happens for 2 years, that might be a good thing. Because as it stands right now, the left doesn't have a rat's ass chance in hell. I don't care who they put up as a nominee in 2024. There's no way they're keeping the White House. So, Patty Hansen, so now the bees are identifying as fish. What's next? Hell, I don't know. I mean, anybody can identify as whatever they want, right? You know, there was that story about the kid in school that identified as a cat, and unless the teacher that didn't meow to him, the substitute or whatever, got fired, you know. Leftist lunacy is, unfortunately, I mean, this stupid part. We have the teeniest, tiniest, minuscule portion of the population. What is it? 3% of the country identifies as LGBTQ, ABC, FYG, a 1, 2, 3, 9, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4. I don't know. You know, why is it so important that everybody has to cater to, you know, the minute population, you know, whatever, you know, granted, we're not majority rules, okay, that we're not, you know, mob mentality in the country, but whatever happened to doing what's right for the majority, you know, what most people want, not what one person wants, what the majority of the people want, and then that's what gets done. So, Sugar in the Attic Homestead. So they're flying fish now, yes. Roosters. Spoons in California are being looked at as extremely deadly weapons. So is lint from your dryer. I'm hoping you're kidding. Jay Myers, how's the pond doing? Filling slow. Pond's not going anywhere. I burned up a pump, so that got stopped. So I'm waiting for another one. And we've wound up losing probably about 6 to 9 inches of water from evaporation because it ain't rained. Hey, Weather Channel, it ain't rained. Stop telling me it's gonna. Lisa Sayer, well, I want to be a supermodel in this crazy world. Well, identify as one. So don't forget, you've got to get into heroin and all that sort of stuff, you know, so you can stay 84 pounds or whatever, you know, that it takes. You know, remember Twiggy? Yeah, there you go. That's dating me. That's back to the 70s. Let's see. Okay, there's a whole bunch of hellos. Kim, Bill Maher sometimes now sounds like a conservative. I wouldn't say Bill Maher's a conservative, but I think he's finally starting to wake up a little bit and go, all right, like so many people have said, I didn't leave the Democrat Party left me. I think that's kind of where Bill Maher is. You know, he's always tipped left, just not, he hasn't fallen off the edge of the cliff yet. Rose Zingelman, what? Whoops. And we just shot up to the bottom, but I saw the question. Why give onions a haircut? Okay, so it's the second time I've done it. When you're growing your onions, okay, obviously the bulb is going to grow right there at the surface, and mine are now about the size of golf balls, so that's good. But when the stalk tips over, that's when the bulb will stop growing. So I mean, if your onions are anything like mine, I mean, they're getting to be 18 inches high or whatever. There starts to be a lot of weight up there, and it'll tip it over. And if it pinches that stalk, that's the end of the bulb growing. So you cut off about 6, 8 inches above the top of the ground to take away all that weight, and then it'll grow some more. It'll grow all new leaves. And remember, each leaf on an onion is one ring on your bulb. So you're cutting them to keep them growing and to stop them from tipping over, which will stop the growing. Different than garlic. When garlic you just let go, when it tips over, it's done. And my garlic is going to, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but I am. Does it seem to, and maybe depending on where you are, seems to me my crops are coming in a month early. Okay, my peas normal. All right, no problem. But to get cabbage at the end of May, that was a little early. I got peppers today. Harvested a bunch of banana peppers. My onions are looking good. My garlic is ready to pull. My garlic usually comes up around 4th of July. It's the 4th of June, and my garlic's tipping over. I got to pull that this week. So just seeing that. All right. But that's why you give onions a haircut. Okay. South Kentucky survivalist. We plan 3,500 calories in SHTF. What are your recommendations or thought? That's an awful lot. Okay. USRDA right now is 2,000 calories, and the average American man eats about 2,700. The average American woman eats about 2,200 calories a day. Okay. So we do eat a little bit more than we're supposed to. Now, granted, for the most part, we have a relatively sedentary lifestyle. A lot of people work at desks. We drive cars. I've said many times, how many times do you see people drive to the mailbox because it's too far to walk? You can easily make it on less than 3,500 calories. Granted, you are going to be doing a lot more physical labor. I get it. If you are planning 3,500 calories, you're golden for that because you're probably going to have more than what you actually consume. So your food will last longer than you think it will. Now, the catch is, how are you planning your calories? I mean, do you have 500 pounds of sugar stored up? That's not exactly good. Okay. If you've got it stored up in complex carbs, if you've got it stored up in good sugars, if you've got it stored up in proteins and things like that, fine. If you've got it stored in candy bars and beef jerky, you're in trouble. Nick Collins, will urea and DEF shortage double fuel prices? Okay, I'm going to give you something on urea, guys, and fertilizer, if people don't think this is a problem. A lot of the fertilizer that farmers are using this year is from last year. We had a whole lot in store to go into planting season this year. Right now, as it looks, there won't be any to even start planting next year. You think food prices are bad now? Wait till next year when there's nothing that can be fertilized or planted, okay? Because they don't have, there is no stockpile, all right? Will those double the fuel prices? No, because they're both byproducts. But the fact that the fuel prices are going up means that the urea and diesel exhaust fluid prices are going to go up too. Rooster is an ex-Californian. Simple-minded is nicer than stupid. Ain't that the truth? Mark Sampietro. Do I spoon my onions? If so, when do you start? Okay, I'm assuming you mean ring the onions. Now, I have clay soil here, natural soil, and then I've built my own soil. The difference being, I know, what is it? Hollis and Nancy's Homestead, he talks about ringing his onions. Danny down at Deep South has talked about ringing their onions. They have very sandy soil. Okay, there's no real structure to it. Okay, think about sands through an hourglass; it just go through. So they have to plant their onions a whole lot deeper, so they'll stand up. So that's why when they start to bulb, when you start to see the sand start to crack, to separate, that's when you want to ring them. Here for me, because I've got a soil that is out of native topsoil, horse manure, cow manure, compost, that sort of stuff, my soil's got a lot more structure to it. So I can plant my onions a lot shallower, so they are bulbing to, right now, about a third of the onion is already above the surface. So I don't even need to do it. So it depends on your soil condition. If you've got sandy soil, you're going to want to ring your onions. If if you planted your onions deep, you're going to want to do it. In my soil, I can plant them very shallow. They'll still stand up, and then I don't have to worry about it. Okie Forge, Seth Meyers had Beto O'Rourke on his show the other night. Couldn't watch it. I didn't even realize Seth Meyers still had a TV show. It's not like I ever make it up late enough to watch late night comedians anyway. But I mean, hell, the few times that I did watch, I'd watch Leno. I mean, back watch Carson, yes. Leno was okay. I could never stand David Letterman. Uh, and then the whole new cast of characters with Jimmy Kimmel and everything like that. I mean, these are a bunch of hacks that have no business doing stand up, let alone anything else. They're not funny. Nancy B, what is one crop you'd love to grow that just doesn't work in your location? Citrus. I would love to be able to grow oranges or lemons or something like that. It's just, we can't with the winter. And I know there's one citrus type tree that will grow in Tennessee, but it's not an orange or something like that. I mean, I'd love to be growing oranges and grapefruits and lemons and stuff like that. I wish I could. Shelly McGow, what's the best brand Mylar bags? I don't know. I got them from a website, discountmylarbags.com, and I've never had a problem with any of them. So, Country Humans Grease fan, how would a breakup of the country look like? I think we're in for severe depression or recession. Well, the recession's almost inevitable. I mean, we've already got 1 quarter of negative growth, and if this quarter, which inevitably is going to be, will be officially in a recession. As for the severe depression, there's a lot of calls for that. Severe recession, whatever, how long it lasts is the next question. But yeah, when balkanization, the breakup of the country, which I'm all for, okay, and like I've said, it's time to divorce. The two sides do not agree anymore. And I've talked about this before, probably between 3 and 5, my guess is closer to 5 separate countries, is what you'd have. You'd have the West Coast, you'd have the Northeast, you'd probably have the Deep South, the Midwest, and then depending on what you've got, the Mountain West would probably fold in with the Midwest. That would be my guess. But you'd probably break it up the country into two or three liberal, socialist, communist countries, and 2 or 3 that would follow the U.S. Constitution. Francis Gentunen, hope I'm pronouncing it right. How do we tell we are getting the bad gas you've warned us about? Okay, so that you're talking about the E15. Look at the gas pump when you go pump gas. By law, they have to tell you the ethanol content of the gas. If you see this contains 10% ethanol, that's what you've been pumping through your car for the longest time. When you see this contains 15% ethanol, find a different gas, okay? Ask any mechanic, they will tell you it will burn up your rings, it will burn up your seals, and you'll wind up with a whole lot of repair bills. So yes, don't run E15. Don't listen to Joe. Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Pinball, try to do happy videos, no heart attacks. Okay, I promise. Cabragroon Cabulus, there you go. Thank you for the super chat. What was used by farms prior to fertilizer on a mass scale? We have a year. Can't the industry use or find an alternative? Well, if you think about it, there wasn't the mass scale farms like we have now. You had family farms that were, but they weren't tens of thousands of acres, like the corporate farms these days are. Okay, you had the family farms, which maybe had, I don't know, 100 acres or so. And they'd spread manure, and that was good. You know, turning their fields and spreading manure was the majority of the fertilizer. When you got into the better life through chemicals, now it wasn't as much work to go through and just go and spray a whole bunch of chemicals around. It was faster and more efficient, and you had a more stable, not, when I say stable, it was the same all the time. Fertilizer, they went that way. But if you go back to even the beginning of the 19th century, there weren't these massive farms. Okay, these, you know, tractors were just coming around. You know, the guys were still pulling with, you know, horses or oxen or something, pulling a plow and doing. They were tilling manure in. That was what was used. The farms that we have now, it's just not feasible. You know, with the amount of farmland that you're trying to do. I mean, can you imagine the truckloads of manure that would have to go on some of these farms? I mean, I've driven through Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, that sort of stuff. And I mean, literally, it's 440 miles to go through Kansas from one side to the other. And you look at cornfield for 440 miles. Okay. Can you imagine doing enough manure to cover all that? That's the problem. Okay, let's get back to how we were doing this here. Okay, I got to figure out where I was. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Checks to mix. I have a new pistachio addiction. Can I use the shells in the garden somehow? I suppose so. There probably is a way. I don't, that one I don't know. Okay. I'm assuming if you did, you'd somehow have to grind them, powder them, do something, but that one you're gonna have to look up. I have no idea. Ann Palmer, after this morning's video, I got a note and wrote, no willy-nilly schedule on front. There you go. Yeah, make your list. This is what I'm going to accomplish today. And if you get it done by 10 o'clock, take the rest of the day off and go have some fun. If you're still doing it at 7 o'clock and you're not done, keep working till 8. I mean, it's, you know, this is what I need to get done today. Done. Okay. Ed Kirkpatrick. By Christmas, the housing market will be flat as a pancake. I have a feeling you're right, because, but the thing is, people have to have somewhere to live. It depends on what happens with interest rates. It depends on what happens with the economy, with people going to work. It could, my guess is the reason it's flat as a pancake is we go back to a 2008, 2009 housing crisis, and then we're in trouble. Screwdriver, wait until they ban cars for bees hitting the windshield. Yeah. Tim Charles, have I heard of Ohio Bill 99, the teacher carry law? No, I have not. But if it's saying the teachers should carry, I'm all for that. Okay. I'm all for everybody carrying, as long as you're not mentally ill. Okay. An armed society is a polite society. You know, that's it. If I know the guy in front of me has got a gun, even if I've got one too, it probably makes me think that, you know, is he a quicker draw than I am? You know, do I want to piss him off? Maybe not. So, Shelly McGow, I'm really confused by all the Mylar bags on the market. Do you have a suggestion? It depends on what you're going to use them for. The majority of the Mylar bags I have are the ones that fit a 5-gallon bucket, okay? Because that's how I store most of my dry goods, Mylar bag in a 5-gallon bucket. I do have some of the smaller bags that I will put still in a 5-gallon bucket, but I will seal them up in that and put multiple ones in a 5-gallon bucket, because you're not going to use, I don't need to open a 5-gallon bucket full of coffee, okay, for example. But discount Mylar bags, that's where I've, like I said, that's where I've got my oxygen absorbers, my Mylar bags, everything like that, and I've had no problem with them. The only thing I will say is don't waste your money on the ones that have the little seal strip or whatever it is. Just get the ones that you take an iron to and seal them off, because the first time you cut it open, you're going to cut off that seal strip, and if you need to close it again, you're just going to iron it, and you're just wasting money on it. So just buy the ones that are a flat bag, none of the Ziploc crap in it. I hope that helps. Krista Ballard, he is trashing the house before he's being evicted. Okay, I'm assuming that's not for me. Diana B, have I watched the documentary 2000 Mules? Yes, I did. I posted a link where everybody else could watch it for free too. So it was very eye-opening, and it's funny how all that information is put out there, yet Congress is still doing nothing. Dusty Marthaler, knives for bartering. I have maybe 120 skinning, deboning, butcher, all good and sharp. Yeah, that would probably be a good barter tool. Obviously, if you're going to go trade it, make sure you're armed, okay? Because if you give them the knife and they try to come at you with it, you want to be able to stop them. But the knives are going to be something that everybody is going to need. Whether it's cutting brush, cutting sticks, skinning an animal, whatever it would be, a knife is going to be a very crucial tool to have in an SHTF event. A lot more than your Ginsu knives or your, what is it, Pioneer Woman or whatever it is. No, you're going to need to have a real knife, and many different kinds of real knives. Let's think of, the same knife that you're butchering a deer with, you're not going to fillet a fish with. Okay, you're going to need both. Joan S. When growing carrots in grow bags, do I need to cover the seeds? Saw your video showing covering rows of carrot seeds with wood planks. The reason I put the wood over the top is to maintain the moisture. If somebody asked me if they could put cardboard over the top, yeah, you could. Cardboard would work fine too. Just in a week or so, you're going to pick up sopping wet cardboard off the top, but that's fine, no big deal, as long as you take it off. The reason is to keep those seeds completely moist at all times. Even if you say, well, I water them every day, that's great. You're in a bag. Bags dry out faster than the ground does. If it's hot, like it's been here lately, you could water them in the morning, and by mid-afternoon, they're dried out. There goes your germination. So cut a ring of cardboard and put it over the top of it. Something that will keep moisture under it. It's a mulch is basically what you're trying to do. Somehow, some way to keep the moisture on the seed. Nick Collins, chances of Taiwan invasion before winter. Damn, the crystal ball didn't come back yesterday. I'm sorry. The rhetoric is getting louder and louder and louder about it. I still think China's going to go in. We'll see what happens. Rose Engelman says 20% of Gen Z now alphabet, social contagion. Yeah, it's because, my friends are all doing it, so I have to too. It's the old joke of, what was it? Those, if you're a Republican before 30, you don't have a heart. And if you're a Democrat after 30, you don't have a brain. That's pretty much what it is. Gen Z is all in there. Oh, kumbaya, everything's going great. It's like I told my daughter all the time, when, like I said, she was very conservative up until about the beginning of high school. And all of a sudden the liberalness kicked in and she's like, oh, this is great. And AOC's a hero and everything like that. And I'm just like, yeah. Wait till you're done with school. Wait till you hit the real world. And all of a sudden it's like, ding, the light bulb goes off. She goes, gee, Dad, I didn't realize taxes were this much. I didn't realize everything was so expensive. I'm like, yep. Welcome to the real world. Capitalism is how you pay your bills. Children in Noah, have they changed the voting machines? Some states have. Okay, not all of them. LGBTQ, I like that. Let's get Biden to quit. That sounds good to me. Kim, California banned gas ranges for new construction. I saw that. Nobody in that state can think. I mean, natural gas is a much more efficient source of heat than electricity. It's cheaper and pollutes less. But hey, let's get rid of them. Julie WIP, best states to relocate to with kids that don't mandate stings. I can't answer that because every state, you can't just go by state because different, would I suggest somebody with kids move to where I am? No. Okay. Simple reason why. A, the school system ain't that good. And B, there aren't a whole lot of kids around here. So, they're not going to have that social interaction. And, my county has one high school. The county has one high school. County's relatively decent size. I can't see if I had kids. Dad, can you take me over to Tommy's house? Where's Tommy live? Oh, Tommy lives about 45 minutes that way. Right. Okay. Yeah. It all depends. I mean, there's way too many caveats on answering that question. Cone 7, not sure if anyone's seen this, but more food issues. A cheese recall is going on. I saw that some cheese company, I think it was out of Kansas City or something like that. I mean, it's not like a craft cheese or something like that. This was a specialty cheese company. All right, we're going to shoot to the bottom. Let's see if we can get back to where we were. Okay. Big Dog Ma, what is happening in October that I keep hearing about? Farmers are warning about cost being passed to us on food and also the weather issue. Okay, because October is when basically when the biggest part of the harvest starts coming in, especially when you're talking about things like corn and stuff like that, when you're getting into that. Where they're talking about cost being passed on to us, farmers operate in the red until the end of the year. Okay, y'all know what Black Friday means, all right? What day after Thanksgiving. Why did it get the name Black Friday? That's the day that retail stores get out of the red. They have borrowed money all year to put clothes on the shelves and toys and whatever it would be. And they finally make enough income by Black Friday. And then the last 4 weeks of the year is where they make their profits. Okay. Farmers are the same way. They've borrowed money for the tractors, for the fertilizers, for the seed, whatever it would be. And when they sell it, that's when they go pay off that note. And then whatever they have after selling everything, paying off the note is what they made. Okay. Well, we haven't seen the costs that farmers have incurred for diesel fuel, for tractors, for fertilizer. We haven't seen that yet because they've taken the loan out. We won't see it until they sell the harvest. And then we're going to see the prices and everybody's going to go, what the hell happened to corn? Why did corn just go double in price? It's because that's what it cost the farmers to grow it this year. Fortitudine Farm, we expect more yields from our crops, and that leads to problems all around. If you get more yield, that's great. That would drive the price down. The problem is if it drives the price down, you still have the aforementioned notes to pay that you need a higher price. Now, granted, you have more to sell, but How about the guy who didn't? He still needs that price higher. Yeah, like you said, problems all around. Because what Farmer Joe does affects what Farmer John does too. More cow farts. Okay. I know I'm always, as usual, way behind. You guys are talking about manure in the chat where I am here. DOS FC, you just want manure to cover the farms, then spread some congressional Washington around. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's poisoned. You think Grayson is bad. At home with Amy Lynn, discount Mylar, MYLAR bags. There we go. And Lucky Dame put it up. Okay. Just John, haven't been able to plant yet. Yard is still wet and that's insected. Like, geez, that's crazy. You're getting to the point in some places where it's almost too late to plant. A lot of stuff needs 120 days to go from germination to harvest. Well, 120 days is July 4th, August, September, October 4th. How many places, especially up north, by the beginning of October, have you already had a freeze? Okay. There are certain things that's already too late for you to plant up north. Frank Drebin, thanks New York State, got to stock up on body armor now. Recommendations, Pinball. Go look at Spartan Arms. They've still got the best stuff out there at the best price. War, thoughts on a food saver, vacuum packing, oxy absorber? Well, if you're going to use oxygen absorbers, you don't need to vacuum seal. If you're going to vacuum seal, you don't need oxygen absorbers. So one or the other. Oxygen absorbers with Mylar bags. Any food saver you find, is good. I personally prefer Mylar bags for the simple reason is they're silver, okay, which keeps the light out, because the two things that will destroy your food are light and oxygen. Okay, and if you're putting them in freezer bags, they're still clear, light still gets to them, you can still have damaged food. Little Lone Prepper, ideas for a meetup plan for family members who don't live close by. Call it a family reunion or something like that. Hey, we're all going to meet at the lake, or we're all going to get together at this national park, or we're all going to camp for the weekend or something like that. Just, get everybody to make a long weekend vacation out of it. Miss T, is there a stupid test to be qualified to run for Congress? Probably. Kathy Little, will I give us the 2K Mule free link again? It doesn't work anymore. It was only for like 2 days or something like that. Hurdling for the homestead. What's the best way to store coffee? Is it too oily to use an oxygen absorber? No, not at all. If you think of those bricks that you buy, that's all that is, okay? It's just been vacuum sealed. You can vacuum seal it, or you can put it in an oxygen absorber. Same thing. That's what you're trying to do, is just make it a hard brick. So just put in enough of oxygen absorbers to suck everything out. Or just leave it in the can it comes in. That it won't last as long, but it's still going to be fine for a couple of years. All right, couple of keep it clean, family friendly. All right, mods, do your thing. Okay. Booney June, Walmart decaf coffee went up $3. That hurt. Yeah, I know. I watched the coffee prices and everything like that. If I see something on sale, it's like, okay, I'll grab 4 of them or whatever. Go from there, because coffee's getting ridiculous. You don't want to talk to me in the morning without my coffee. Okay. At home with Amy Lynn, is it better to store coffee as grounds or beans? It's better to store it as beans, but then you got to have a coffee grinder, and most everybody's going to have an electric one. Then if you don't have power, it's better to store them as beans, but it's not like coffee's going to go bad. Like I just said, you store it in the can it's in for a couple of years. Prepper 911. Okay. What mill Mylar bags do I recommend? What is it? 4 mil? I think it's been so long since I bought them. Honestly, I don't remember. I could go look. Email me afterwards. I'll go and look it up for you. See which ones I bought, and I'll tell you. Okay. Healthy disrespect for authority. Due to the early harvesting, will I be planting my fall stuff early? Mrs. P and I were talking about that today, is when I can put in my fall crop of cabbage. I don't think I'm going to do a fall crop of peas because as soon as these peas are done drying out, I'm going to rip all those out and put melons in. But we were talking about doing a fall crop of beets as well. I mean, our beets are doing wonderfully this year. It's like if I can get as many as I can, I will. But I probably won't. Again, it's going to be depending on weather, but my fall crop will probably go in late August still for me. But then again, it won't get too cold. My last freeze date is Halloween. So, or first frost date, I'm sorry. Jay Myers, ain't that the truth? With the electric grid as fragile as it is, they're banning everything that runs on gas. I mean, that's the stupidity. Let's get rid of gas cars. We can't keep air conditioners running. How in the hell are you going to get all these cars running on electricity? I'm sorry, boss, I can't come in today. My car won't charge. You know, that doesn't fly. You know, and I've said a million times, even these fast charging cars, it'll charge in an hour. That's great. I can fill up my truck and gas in less than 10 minutes. Okay. You know, if I'm on a trip somewhere, I don't want to be spending an hour sitting at a gas station, let alone be the third person in line at the gas station or the electric station. Gee, you know what? Why don't you go get lunch, come back, we'll sit here, you know, because the two people in front of them need to be there for an hour, right? Okay, everybody's answering 5 to 7 mil for Mylar bags. Thank you. Okay. Sunshine Me, I killed my bean plants. How the hell? Beans are about the easiest freaking thing to grow. What did you do? Spray poison on them or something, or vinegar? Whatever? I mean, it's hard to kill bean plants. Why does this? Free Me, recommendation for people with refrigerated meds if power permanently goes out. Well, I showed you guys the solar cooler the other day. That would be my recommendation. Or have a solar generator, you know, even like the little Delta 1300, and maybe like a little, I mean, Mrs. P's got one and she keeps some of her makeups in or whatever, but she got this tiny little Frigidaire refrigerator that's, I'd say 12 by 12. It's probably 1 square foot, you know, and she keeps some medicines and some of her makeups and stuff like that in there just up in the bedroom. It's fine. I mean, depending on, I mean, if you've got bags of IV fluid or something like that that have to stay cold or something, that's different. But, you know, if it's vials of insulin or whatever, one of those two suggestions would be my answer. Hazel Shelton, they want us all stuck at home. Absolutely, that's what they want. Okay, the catch is they want you stuck at home and desperate to get out. Oh my God, you know, look at what was going on in Shanghai. Okay, for example, everybody was locked in a house for 3 weeks. We don't have any food. We can't do this. Blah blah blah. We got to get out of here. And I've said this many, many, many times to you guys. Prep yourself so if you could never leave your property again, it wouldn't matter. Okay. If they did that to us, there'd be a lot of people, 99 point some odd percent of the country be totally freaking out. There'd be a lot of people though, be going, it's okay. If I can't go anywhere, I got my food, I got my water, I got my power, I got whatever I need. I'm good. Took care of it. We're the ones that scare them. They can't control us, and that scares them. Hazel, okay, so Hazel then says, they can control us if we're stuck at home. No, they can't. They can control the people who aren't prepared because they're freaking out going, how am I going to eat? Those of us that are prepared go, fine, no big deal. Okay, so now I got to go back up because it shot down to her response. Let's see. Hang on. Okay. Carissa Cantwell in North Arkansas got cabbage in late and no heads yet. Just leave. Any hope or pull them out? Cabbage is a cold weather crop. You unless you've got something else to put in the space, leave them. Last year we got ours in too late. They didn't do squat over summer. You remember the little heads I got in fall. If you've got something else that you can plant there instead, go for it. I would pull them. So that would be my suggestion. Brian Hagerman, if we clear out 40 by 40 area of grass for a garden, what makes for good material to separate the in-ground beds? I heard ticks like wood chips. I don't use wood chips or anything. I mean, there's wood chips in my soil from the horse manure, okay, because of the horse manure and horse bedding, okay, so it's in there, which is nice because as much as everybody says, oh, it depletes the nitrogen, it's great. I water with urine, so I replace that, but it also retains moisture, so I don't, even after no rain here for a week or something like that, our soil was still moist that I just use ground cover over it and works fine for me. It's different for everybody. Some people swear by straw. Some people swear by grass. Some people say not, grass clippings. Some people say nothing. Some people like wood chips. Whatever. You got to find what works in your area. Different places, different things won't work. Again, I referenced Deep South Homestead again, and Danny hates using ground cover. Why? Because they get all the fire ants that build houses up under, build ant hills under there. I don't have that problem here, so it works for me. You got to find what works for you because the soils are different, the climates are different. I've never heard anybody ticks and wood chips. I don't know that. I've never heard that. Okay, I know people say, "Oh, gee, you're going to get termites." That's not an issue either. If you got a problem with termites, and use cedar chips. But yeah, find what works in your area. Best thing to do in a case like that is ask other gardeners what they use and what problems they've had. Locally. Sunshine Me, can I grow bean plants under lights in my garage? As long as you have ultraviolet and UV infrared lights, yes. If you just got white lights, you'll never get any fruit. If you've got the red and blue lights, yes, you will get them to fruit. Jay Myers, I'm in an area where our electric company has coal-fired plants. They're talking stopped in 2025. What was it? They just took a nuclear power plant offline up in Michigan this week. Hey, there you go. We've got to raise the electric prices tenfold between 3 and 7. Let's stop producing electricity. The first thing I would say in that area is, who the hell are your politicians and how the hell do you get them out? Because that is somebody who's in bed with the environmentalists, not in bed with realists. Healthy Disrespect, have I tried to grow buttercup squash? No, I haven't. I've never even I've heard of butternut squash, but I've never heard of buttercup squash. Whoops. Okay, hang on. Shot me to the bottom again. Okay. Where are Hazel Shelton, I'm teaching almost 5,000 people to can food right now. What the hell are you doing? I mean, I'm assuming you're doing some sort of live stream or something like that with people. That would, that's, I talk about Lisa and Sutton's days all the time. You want to learn something about canning, there you go. But yeah, people need to learn how to preserve their food. because, like I said, my harvest is coming in early. And, right now, you can get canning jars at the store. I mean, we were at Walmart the other day and they had canning jars coming out their ears. Wait till August. Remember last year? There weren't any to be found. Okay. Learn how to can. Get your pressure canner now. Get your canning jars now, because when you harvest and there's no way to put that stuff back, you got a bunch of work that just goes down into the compost pile. Rooster, my wife has been researching. You can your cabbage leaves. They are edible. Oh yeah, we can cabbage. I mean, like I said, I made 14 quarts of sauerkraut. We made 14 quarts of borscht, and then Mrs. P made 5.5 quarts of kimchi yesterday. So, oh yeah, you can can cabbage. Yeah, no problem. Jay Myers, friend uses ashes from the wood stove for their garden. Yes, depending on the plant. That's going to be good for potassium. Potash is what it is. Just do not use your ash on potatoes. It will give your potatoes scab. It's good for your carrots, good for your turnips, your parsnips, your beets, carrots, radishes, anything like that. Any root vegetables, really good for it. Just do not use it on potatoes. Crap, it's 10:01. Talk about flying right on by. Okay. Sorry about that. Didn't even realize where we were going. I'll go one more. Aurelia Martinez, is this a good time to take money out of retirement? That is a personal question. I can't say this. It's definitely a good time of money to take it out of the market. Whether or not you can take it out of retirement, there's way too many other questions there. I would not be in stocks right now. If you've got a 401k, you've got an IRA, I would have that money being in money market, in the cash account, something like that. I would not have it in the equity market right now. My personal opinion, I'm not giving financial advice. Just this market is a bubble ready to pop. So, all right, guys. Sorry I ran long. Didn't even realize what time it was. I was having too much fun. Have a good evening, y'all. We'll see you in the morning. Pinball out.